everybody. You know, I'm busy doing all this stuff this morning, and I thought, well, maybe I'll share with you guys what I do on a Sunday morning. And the worst smoky day yet. Every day is like that, so we won't go on about that anymore. But what have I done this morning? You know, we get up about 6:30. That's right, 6:30. This is common practice. And maybe have a couple pieces of toast. Always together. We have breakfast, lunch, and supper. Always, always, always. So we had a couple pieces of toast and our coffee. And, you know, we decide what we're going to do for the day. So Sundays, because it's been weird weather, I like to just run the orchids through quickly. And I've done all the ones but the big ones, because the big ones, I'll take this watering can when this video is at the end and try and show you what I do. But it's my ugliest one, but it drips less and holds more. So I'm going to use that one. I've almost finished the small ones. I've got these ones to do. So I got the small ones to do. And then when I was watering one, I saw a yellow leaf. It was one of the small ones. You can see by the size of the leaf. But you know, if you get a yellow leaf and it hasn't fell off, and maybe it's better just before it does fall off, but it's yellow, and you start splitting it from this end and split and split and split, and then when you get near the stem, you've got two pieces, and you pull down and you pull down. Now what happens if you wait for it to fall off? It's probably going to leave this piece right here. It's probably going to leave that. And water can get in there, bugs can get in there, where if you just pull down, pull down, pull down, you can save that happening, and it's actually better. And then more little roots can grow, aerial roots at the surface, or just under the surface, not far. But I just thought I should, I've been meaning to show that. And next time I have a yellow leaf, I'll do it in front of you. So after coffee, I have to go check on Mom, so I go check on Mom. At least this is Sundays. Every day is a little bit different. And turn her computer on for her. And then I have to go water and put a mask on, because the particles are so big that are falling in the air, and they just turn to dust if you touch them. But I just thought it might help, and it's horrible. But anyway, I did wear one. So I watered all the baskets in the front, came around here, watered the greenhouse. The lemon tree looks beautiful. It's got lots of green leaves, and things are going really good in there. And then I went to the garden. I had all my watering done, and then I come back here. I put a big shirt on and long pants and socks and boots, and I sprayed the clothes, not me, because there's so many mosquitoes under the bushes. I mean, can you believe there's mosquitoes in this weather? But when you start waffling around in the bushes, there comes a mosquito. So I have my collar up. So anyway, I picked this many beans this morning. And what will happen later today, you won't be here, but I'll wash them all off and top and tail them. And these are stringless ones. So then they'll get boiled for 2 minutes, strained, put in ice water, and strained, bagged, put in the freezer for winter. So that's going to happen. I picked the beans. And by the way, it is 9:45, you know, just to kind of put what I've done in perspective. Now you find out this is a crazy girl. Now, I got so many beets out there, and I'm trying to pick the smaller ones because I'll cook a few for dinner and put some butter on them. And I'll probably cut the nicer leaves off and cook them up. And and I did pick a cucumber. I mean, if you need a cucumber, come on over. I got lots. If you're in Salmon Arm, I wouldn't mind. Okay, and I got a few Roma tomatoes, and only one big one, but they're massive and they're sweet. But we're eating, this one was falling off. So I did that. I couldn't wait to get out of the garden now. If it was better weather, I would have did some hoeing of weeds, and it did a lot more, but ugh, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. So I did that, and then I came in and I thought, well, the orchids were kind of dry. Now, with the temperature down the hallway is about 88 Fahrenheit. It's warm in the house, and it's humid in the house. Yesterday, I took they said on the news, if you put like the wet towel, I know, Scott, you're so smart. If you put the wet towel over, we have a kind of big fan. We put it at the back door sometimes, and we brought it in, and because we got these laminate floors, I put it on a boot tray. Took a big wet towel on the back where the air is coming in, and apparently it helps get the particles out of the air, and it really did help because we slept way better last night, and it doesn't cool down, and we can't open the windows, and we only have this one air conditioner. I mean, we can't run it day and night, and we don't like to. So that's about the temperature in the house. And the humidity, they say outside is 73. I want to get one of those indoor-outdoor reading things, because you can't always believe what they say, but they say it's 73 humidity outside. Inside is 55, so it's quite possible. Now, it's a little higher inside because I ran that fan with the water. I haven't had the misters on because I know there's enough humidity, but there's bowls of water, which is also helping. But it's also better for us. It gets so dry. So, what else? Humidity is important, and I think the humidity is what's keeping these orchids so happy, because it's hot. It's not cooling off at night at all. When we get up, it's hot. It gets hotter all day, but not as hot if we didn't have all this smoke, because the sun is coming down. So anyway, these ones need water run through, and I just did this one. We'll put it there for a minute. So I'm going to be doing that. And oh yeah, I did something else. I have to go around here. Okay. Now, I went out in the garden, and there was a huge big cabbage, the first one. It was an early one, the one with the bumpy leaves. Do you know, so I picked it because it had started to break. I picked it, and what I did, one big cabbage, I should bring these around. I made sauerkraut. Fermented food is so nutritious. If you ferment your cabbage, it's way more nutritious than eating it fresh out the garden, which we do too. But so I came in yesterday, picked that cabbage, chopped it all up by hand into tiny pieces, and I put a tablespoon of salt on the big cabbage. I probably could have put 2 teaspoons, but I put a tablespoon, which really isn't too bad. And because I've cut out chips. Chips are so loaded with salt, and I was being so bad, and they only make you feel worse, all that salt in your body. So I thought, well, this is at least nutritious salt, where chips is like, not so delicious. So anyway, you just put a bit of salt on it after it's all chopped, and I put it in a bowl, and I scrunched it, and I have this wooden thing, and I went like this, and I let it sit about half an hour. Every once in a while, smashing with your hands, because your hands help. Like, this is organic produce, and if you use an organic produce, which you should, and your hands are clean, but working with your hands brings out all the natural yeasts and everything that start to work. Now, I probably should put it in a cool room, but I said to Jack, like, where's the cool? There isn't a cool room. So we got a paper bag over them to keep them not in the light. And they're starting to work already. You can see bubbles in here. Little tiny bubbles. On the lid you can see bubbles. I don't know. You can see them. But yeah, it's starting to work. So this is good because we're going to have nice cabbage. And even if you've made it, you see, if you buy it and they've had to pasteurize it, it's going to ruin all the probiotics that's in the cabbage. So you basically, it's so easy, you guys. And if anybody wants to know more, email me, Carolyn Orchid Friends @yandex.com. Just email me. And it's so easy. You only need 2 jars. Now, Jack bought me these special little lids that you can suck air out. But there's other ways than Google making fermented cabbage, sauerkraut. And then, and then this morning, this poor little my neighbor here, about quite a long time ago, before fire season started, before all this started, she gave me 3 tiny little plants she had, and she said, oh, a relative of hers had such a beautiful vine on her patio with these big, beautiful flowers. And she gave me 3 tiny little ones she started from seed. Now, they're grow like weeds a lot of places, and I don't want that. But you can grow them in your house, and that's what I do want to do. But Rosemary, living in Kamloops, has a place where she could put like a privacy vine. So I think she's going to plant hers outside. I gave her the other 2 little ones. And this poor thing has been through the whole summer so far on the second shelf where I had the orchids in the greenhouse. And I finally saw someone was starting to chew on it, chew the leaf off. And I finally thought, okay, I'm going to bring it in. So it's a passion flower. Years ago, like, oh my God, like a lot of years ago, maybe I was like 22, I tried to grow one and I couldn't grow it. It was way up north. So I'm going to try again. Anybody with any hints, let me know. And I may have to do what I did with the Hoya. I used one of those painted tomato cages and just grew it around and round and round. So, and keep it pruned a bit. So this is my idea for this. So I quickly took it off the shelf, put it in a little pot, and then stuck it in this. This is an old teapot that was out in the gazebo, and I thought, well, this will be good because if I ever want to hang it, I can still hang it. So I've done that. And oh yeah, and then I saw on the ground out there a peach. And they're not ready, they're green, but I think a bird might have gnawed at it, or it just fell for some reason. And there was ants on it, and I thought, well, I'll bring it in. It's the only one, thank goodness, there's lots in the tree. Anyway, we'll just let it ripen the rest of the way in here, and then we'll have that. So here we are up at 6:30, and that's what's happened already this morning. Everything that, amounts to anything. So I thought, well, now I'll run these through. And basically, let me see if I can get a close-up on the sink for you without moving this too much. I know, I need a full-time camera person, but, if I did it to Jack, I would never get anywhere if I asked him to do it, because I'd be forgetting what I was talking about all the time. So we'll just move this forward and down a bit. Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. So I got these little ones to do, and when I say run through, let's see, it's got the one flower still, and this one looks like it might open soon. I love this little one. Boy, if you can get a Phalaenopsis, I'm almost ready to say wow, because it grows to a lot bigger plant. It is like a baby. So, but anyway, when I do a run through, with these they have a tiny bit of moss, so it's like maybe every third day. The ones that are just in bark, it's every day. And because, like, I have no moss on the top of these, that's a run through for me. I have no moss on the top of them, and so always I've gotten my leaves wet, and I don't worry about it. But I do, when I see some sit in the corner, I'll either tip the orchid on its side or take a piece of paper towel and nip it out of there. But I have a ceiling fan here by this window and another ceiling fan. They are the greatest. They do love fans, and it has made a big difference. So that one will be ready to go back in its place. And look at the leaf is growing. See, with just bark, let's see if I can get what we like about it is the water does run. Now nothing is holding that water except there is a tiny bit of moss in this pot, but the moss is not getting soaked, it's getting a run through the same. So the only thing to do with bark is to make sure you do under the leaves, because bark, especially newer bark, it will not wick, and so you might end up with some dry spots. I don't keep any moss on the surface of mine because these roots, now if I didn't have the humidity that we do here, and it's never less than like 30%. If we didn't have that, I would have to put something on the surface because that's what they love, the humidity. And when it's lower, say in the 40s, low 40s, lots of times, then I have my mister and I mist. And I don't go right down and touch, but I mist the air. and the pot. And then they're getting some, maybe twice a day if it's real dry. And because we have that little bit of humidity, but if you're somewhere really dry, it's a lot harder. You have to add something else to your bark. And if you're somewhere, if you're no humidity, then yes, you want to find a way to deal with it. Check with other places that have that problem. But here, it's not like oversaturated humidity, but we never drop below the low 40s here. And so I don't worry. And it gets a run through, and these little terracotta ones, and these are cooler growers, and we don't have cool and haven't had cool since I got them. They do get the air on the pot, which gives a cooling effect. So I make sure when I give them their run through, and these are these are in just bark, so they're getting every second day because they're little. If they were in a bigger pot, I'd be doing the 2 a week in the summer, like I am now, Sunday being the other one. And these guys are still holding up nicely. Leaves. So that's what they get. They get that run through just like that, and then I make sure these pots are good. Now if you have like real high humidity, like somebody said, you know, they're putting the car away and they're just going to bring out the boat and leave it. Now if you've got real high humidity, then you want as much airspace in your pots as possible. Someone with real high humidity could grow on mounts if you had a spot where it was easy to water and water could drip and you wouldn't be taking them up and down and making a lot of work for yourself. But bark is really good for high humidity. You can add some other stuff for space. You could add cork for more space in the pot. You could add, you don't have to worry so much about charcoal, because charcoal helps when the water is sitting around in the pot. That's when you want to add the charcoal. So you want lots of holes so air can get in and out, and lots of space in your pots. And I like the bark. I mean, there's a lot of not organic stuff on that people use, but there is, once your bark starts to work, there is natural good fungus in there. Little things, there's things going on in there that just can't go on in your Leica or rocks or other things like that. So I know somebody said their bark is full of bugs. You have to watch that. Now, somebody's getting rid of something that's been sitting around a long time. Maybe when it was packaged, it was wet. I don't know, but my bark from Rexius, I've never had that trouble. It's all heat treated and packaged, and it is dry when I get it. It's dry. So that's why pre-soaking helps too. But anyway, I think that's pretty good for the morning. I'm going to take the camera in one hand, and I'm going to just do a quick little tour as we end out here. Oh yeah, I should show you this. I always think, you know, I should show them this, and it's a silly little thing, but here's my bananas in this very back corner. These two are waiting for me to make some bread, because I wasn't planning on doing this, you know. So, but why are they're in the furthest corner, because any orchids in flower, these are going to create ethylene gas, so they're in the farthest corner. But more important than that, I swear that flying little bugs comes in on these things. And I always keep this little jar here, and I just changed it the other day. You have to keep it clean. And I'm just seeing, and I catch little bugs in here. Now I can't see any yet because I just changed it the other day. But since I started keeping that little jar there, it has been so good in the house. We can have our champagne or wine or whatever we have, and we're not being attacked because they love to get near people and their breath. So these guys are done, and this will be done. But you know, there's still the humidity, even though this is bone dry. The humidity is what these guys, it doesn't need a lot, but they do like the humidity. That's what they're after. And these ones I'd almost given up for dead, so I'm happy. And next year, they should be awesome. So, oh, I need the watering can. Let me grab the watering can. I'll do this, but try not and shake, because I know it's no fun to be dizzy. So, okay, the big ones, yeah, look at the growing. This is mine. Oh, there's a leaf I could rip off next video. Might even be almost ready now. So rip right down the center and pull down on it so that you get that core. So that's a run through. And here's the one that I just is new and planted, and it's stressed a bit on its leaves, but there's lots of roots coming. Look at there. Those are all new roots. And it's only because there's some humidity in the air, because there's no moss, there's no nothing, and twice a day misting. But that's the same as these will get too. And luckily my window here, Jack tiled the bottom of it, so if there is dripping water, because I won't even put these in the shower, the traffic cones will get, and you know, your traffic cone, you can make use of it. You can hang other plants from it, especially the basket ones. And, you know, you can make good use of that. And misting. This is my misting bottle. I just put some fresh water in it yesterday. See, I don't want it to fall off. You know me and accidents. Okay, now when I'm misting, it's like this. When I'm misting the pots, it's like this. See, it gets to the leaves. This is how I'm misting. I'm not going way down like that, although I don't want to say I do it, but some that have roots on the outside like this, I may squirt them so the aerial roots, so they don't dry up too bad. And so these all got their quick run through, and it only took like 20 minutes. And there's a nice new leaf. And then I always give this little guy a squirt too. They all need it, like the ZZ tree. I mean, Jack says it's taken over the house. I need a great big room attached onto this house. We sometimes buy those children's hospital lotteries, and you can win like cash. You know, we don't want to move. I know it's kind of weird out here now, but it's a beautiful place. But boy, would we add on. Why not? Why not? And this is, of course, where the little ones are living. It's the north, so it is a little cooler. And I got my little one in here. The fern is babysitting a poor thing that had no leaves with just a piece of root. But it's struggling. And I could have put it in moss. And I seen a Mexican channel I watch, and he takes an old plastic bottle, puts some moss in the bottom, and it puts water, and he cuts off his flower spikes and puts them in there and has success with keikis. So it's dark in here. This is the day we get up, and it's like 8 o'clock at night. So they're not getting the light they should. I'm worried about that. We were supposed to get rain today, but now no rain in sight. So it's so dark. But we can't see past those houses across the street. And it's just terrible, depressing. Yeah, it's just day after day. And no water since, goodness. So this is where I watered this morning. I just make sure that the birds have some water, which they do there. And I just do the ones at the front of the house, and that's all. This has been the best idea for this front yard. When we made those cement rocks and everything, and then gravel, this is no work. And you can brighten it up with some things, perennials that do good but don't like go crazy. And it has been no work. So, thanks for joining me. I guess I better get busy. And see you next time. Hey, if you want to see what I'm up to some mornings, let me know. I could do this more often. Okay, bye for now.